Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 62 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng completely killed the great sage Beiyu with the help of the Lai Yuan technique. The Dark Hall of the Yangfeng Hall immediately confirmed that the cause and effect of the great sage Beiyu had completely disappeared, and immediately informed each important guest of the news of his death. The great sage Beiyu was completely killed? A top Chaos Realm expert who cultivates the origin of life. Although his fighting ability is inferior, his ability to protect his life is extremely strong. Who can kill him once and for all? Some of the top beings among the ancient god kings of the origin continent? Those beings have extremely high status and generally will not bully the weak. The great sage Beiyu is also very cautious and never dares to provoke those beings. What's going on? The death of the great sage Beiyu attracted the attention of many powerful people in the origin continent, and some of them were shocked. They were also worried that this terrifying being would come to deal with them. After all, most Chaos Realm people are not as capable as Beiyu Dasheng in terms of their ability to survive. Beiyu's great victory may also be because he chose to reincarnate immediately after encountering a terrifying and powerful enemy. Some powerful people also speculated that Beiyu Dasheng is still alive, but has just reincarnated. This is also normal. Facing an enemy that cannot be resisted. Naturally, reincarnation must be done cleanly and neatly. Luo Feng's divine incarnation in Chudu also received this important information from the Dark Hall of the Yangfeng Guild Hall. With his current identity, he naturally also subscribed to important information about the origin continent on a long-term basis. This intelligence only records the death of great sage Beiyu. Why did he die? Who killed him? We don't know anything. Luo Feng traveled through the void and on his way back, he learned some funny information. When he took action, there were only practitioners from that ordinary city at the scene. With Luo Feng's realm, he walked in front of those practitioners, and those ordinary practitioners could not see Luo Feng. Therefore, the only one who knew that Luo Feng had taken action was the great sage Beiyu. Luo Feng only took a glance at Beiyu Great Sage, and under the Lai Yuan technique, Beiyu Great Sage died. He didn't even have the chance to perform the secret technique of reincarnation, so naturally he didn't have time to spread the news. With Luo Feng's form-shifting technique, his speed of traveling through the void was extremely fast, but it still took him about 6 hours to get back to the Chu capital of the Yangfeng ancient kingdom from the Qingji ice field. Chu Yuho Mansion. I gave a bunch of troublesome tasks to Brother Luo He, and Brother Luo He chose the task of Beiyu Dasheng. Not long after I accepted it, Beiyu Dasheng died. Di Chuyu was somewhat surprised. According to the battle at Qianqing Tower, Brother Luo his physique was so strong that he easily swept through the peak of the Chaos Realm. But no matter how strong the physical body is, it is impossible to completely kill a Chaos Realm cultivator. The great sage of Beiyu has many secret methods to save his life. It seems that the strong physical body is just the surface of Brother Luo his skills. He also has hidden killer moves, which can even completely kill a top Chaos Realm master. Di Chuyu guessed, and his eyes lit up for a moment. What is Brother Luo his origin? Is he really the reincarnation of a certain god king? If he is the reincarnated god king, it is normal to hide some unknown means. Suddenly, Emperor Chuyu saw a figure flying above the Marquis mansion. Brother Luo He. Di Chuyu immediately took the initiative to greet Luo Feng and landed as well. Mission accomplished. Luo Feng smiled slightly. Di Chuyu also sighed. I didn't expect Brother Luo He to have such a way to completely kill the top Chaos Realm. When we were fighting 1 against 5 before, it seems that Brother Luo He still showed mercy. Luo Feng smiled. On the one hand, those 5 were at the peak of the Chaos Realm, and he was not sure if he could kill them with the legend technique. Moreover, there were 2 first-class marquises. Killing the eternal true god of the royal family would be rewarded, and if he killed the first-class marquises of the royal family, he would probably lose his life. On the other hand, I still have to keep a low profile in Chudu. The mission is completed, but what proof do I need? Luo Feng asked. No one has accepted this mission for a long time. Bayu Great Sage died just after you accepted it. In fact, it is already part of the evidence. If you have the body or weapon of Bayu Great Sage, I can record it, Dichiyu said. If you don't have it, you can also record a memory scene of your killing for me. Luo Feng flipped his hand and took out a famous double-edged axe from the Great Sage Bayu. Dichiyu glanced at it and nodded. Okay, I have submitted the task, and your credit should be paid out soon. Luo Feng nodded. Remember to keep the mission I completed confidential. Emperor Chuyu understood and nodded. Don't worry. I am directly responsible for your task, and the spirit of Emperor Chu Palace will be responsible for handling my submission. No one outside will know except Emperor Ancestor. Luo Feng nodded. There was no need to make public the fact that he was able to completely kill a top Chaos Realm Master. He still had to try his best to hide this killer move. Luo Feng's guest official received the news that he had received a reward of 100,000 merits. I have done enough to exchange for the first volume of the 72 Swords of Destruction that can destroy the origin of the Great Tao. Luo Feng's heart was burning. He had set his sights on 2 inheritances at the beginning, but he only exchanged for one last time. Luo Feng immediately said goodbye to Dichiyu and went to the Dishu Palace to exchange for the long-desired inheritance. Inside the inheritance hall of Emperor Chu Palace. Guest Luo He, are you sure you want to exchange for the first volume of 72 Swords of Annihilation? The old spirit of the Emperor Chu Palace looked at Luo Feng. Sure. Luo Feng nodded. The old man nodded slightly, and he disappeared immediately. The inheritance hall was also in chaos, with only a hazy light covering Luo Feng. A large amount of inheritance information poured into Luo Feng's mind. Luo Feng's consciousness quickly received a large amount of information and understood the true face of this inheritance. Luo Feng was a little shocked. He had only known some basic information about the inheritance before, but when he came into contact with the real inheritance, Luo Feng was still shocked. The first calamity of the original 8 tribulations life form contained the 3 major branches of the origin of life. Only when the 3 major branches of life spirituality, life body, and source of life are advanced to perfection can the first calamity be practiced. The first volume of 72 Blades of Destruction only contains 2 branches of the origin of destruction, namely, splitting the sky and dark sky. It only contains 2 branches, but the first volume of this inheritance requires 90,000 merits. It is only slightly less than the 100,000 merits of the first calamity of 8 tribulations life form. Even the life-saving ability of 72 Swords of Annihilation is almost negligible, so why is it so expensive? Too strong. Luo Feng finally realized how terrible the path of focusing on killing and destruction was. There is no need to save your life on this road, because if you kill the enemy, he will no longer be a threat to you. The swordsmanship I had learned was like a baby playing with branches, and it was many times worse than the first volume of 72 Swords of Destruction. 3 moves of the heaven-splitting sword technique. In the inheritance information Luo Feng received, he saw that each of the 3 swords had a restrained blade light and did not seem to be very powerful. But a seemingly ordinary sword could easily cut off everything, even the operation of the laws. Wow! With just one ordinary cut, everything was cut open. Even the thick and mysterious magic wall of the world was left with a crack. My tens of billions of units of transformation power exploded with immeasurable might, but it was unable to shake the membrane of the world even a little bit. According to what I know, even some ancient gods cannot break through the membrane of this cage. Luo Feng looked at this ordinary knife in the inheritance information. This sword, although not very powerful, can cut through anything. It seemed as if everything was about to be cut open. The membrane of the world will be split open. In the face of such a blow, the membrane of the world will be split open. How many gods can block it? Luo Feng saw that this was just the sky-splitting sword technique. Boom! Luo Feng also saw the sword light of the dark sky lineage in the inheritance information. This sword light was more restrained than the splitting heaven sword art, but this restraint made Luo Feng a little frightened. The dark sky sword art is an extreme concentration of power which is more than 100,000 or 1,000,000 times more powerful than the normal chaos realm. The dark sky lineage is where power gathers and condenses. The same power, if condensed 100,000 times or 1,000,000 times, wow. The ordinary blade light, when swung, could also destroy everything. In front of it, the cage membrane was trembling, as if it would crack at any time. This dark sky sword art has very little power, but simply because it has been condensed to the extreme its destructive power far exceeds mine. Luo Feng was not surprised. After all, only when the dark sky lineage is perfected can one hope to completely master the 3 moves of the dark sky sword art. The dark sky lineage has reached perfection and has become the God King. It is normal that the destructive swordsmanship cultivated by the God King is more powerful than his own. The 3 moves of the sky-splitting sword technique and the 3 moves of the dark sky sword technique are integrated into one. Luo Feng saw the core of this inheritance. Combine the condensation of the dark sky sword technique and the everything can be cut of the splitting sky sword technique into one. The extremely condensed blade light easily split a huge gap in the membrane of the world, which had the power to destroy the world. Luo Feng had a feeling that even his strong body would be annihilated in front of such a blade light. This is only the first volume, the first 3 swords of 72 swords of destruction. Luo Feng thought to himself that as the creator of the first volume of swordsmanship, he also described the original meaning of swordsmanship. The pursuit of swordsmanship is to transcend the cage and have infinite and ultimate destructive power, to cut through everything, and even to seek to sever all the rules of operation. What a terrifying obsession! Just by coming into contact with the inheritance, Luo Feng could feel the obsession of the creator of the sword technique. Cut everything open. Everything outside the cage. Cut it open as well. 72 swords of annihilation only represents the strongest swordsmanship he left behind. He is still pursuing stronger swordsmanship and pursuing more powerful goals. In the Emperor Chu Palace, the Emperor was observing Luo Feng. He was able to completely kill a top Chaos Realm Master. Could he be a reincarnated God King? The Emperor thought, no matter what their origins are, all life in this world can be cultivated. The 2 ancient nations have the generosity to tolerate the entire source world. They can tolerate even the top beasts. Of course, they cannot tolerate the beasts that are uncontrollable and wantonly destructive. In terms of strength, I am not as good as Di Qing. In the entire origin continent, apart from the 2 ancestors, Di Qing is the strongest. I can't compare with him. But I am not necessarily worse than him in training disciples. The Emperor Chu was still a little dissatisfied. The 13 veins of the royal family, Di Qing, had 15 direct disciples, 6 God Kings, 8 Chaos Transcendents and 1 Chaos Peak. In addition, the 6 God Kings under the Emperor also had many disciples, and 2 God Kings appeared among the disciples of these God Kings. It can be seen that the Di Qing lineage is strong. I now have a total of 2 disciples, 1 Chaos Transcendent and 1 Chaos Peak. The Emperor thought. He was not as good as Di Qing, and the disciples he trained were not as good as him. This Luo he may be the reincarnation of the God King. After I accept him as my personal disciple, won't I have a God King disciple? The Emperor thought, looking at the 2 inheritances he chose after becoming a guest official. I don't understand the origin of life, but the origin of destruction? I practice the origin of destruction. The Emperor was quite satisfied. It seems that he should be my disciple. But the 2 inheritances he chose are not cultivated with the help of the objects of the chaotic source, nor with the help of the chaotic source bloodline, but the inheritance of the enlightened. The enlightened do not seek inheritance from outside, and what they pursue is to open up their own way. Although this path is powerful, it is extremely difficult. The Emperor thought, I have to think about what to prepare for my 3 disciples. The Emperor pondered. The 13 veins of the royal family, the Emperors will give weapons, resources and other things when they accept disciples, which has become a routine. Inside Luo Feng's cave, Morosa and Moyu Qingyang, the de facto master and disciple, were eating and drinking. Qingyang. Morosa chewed the large piece of meat with great relish, saying, Your master is now a Chaos Realm Transcendent, and the resources he bestows upon you are all things that even the eternal true gods cannot obtain. You are just a small void true god, so you must seize the opportunity and don't let your master down. I understand. Mo Yu Qingyang also knew that as a disciple who had transcended the chaos realm, his strength was indeed too weak. Moreover, Morosa said, Chudu, there are many people who have invited you to the banquet, and many daughters of the great families are in love with you. You better be sober. Mo Yu Qingyang smiled along. The fact that some daughters of big families took the initiative to throw themselves into the arms of him did make Mo Yu Qingyang, who came from a small place like Huyang City, feel a little moved. A cultivator has an infinite lifespan, and women are not necessary. Morosa said, look at you, me, Yuan, and your master. There are no women around. Why? Women will affect your concentration in cultivation. Mo Yu Qingyang was startled when he heard this. It's true. Master, Lord Luosa, Lord Yuan, they all really don't have women. You need to focus when practicing, said Morosa. There are many practitioners who are eligible to marry. Mo Yu Qingyang couldn't help but say. During his time in Chudu, there were indeed 2 daughters from the big families who made his heart beat faster. You understand the principle, you can handle it yourself. Morosa stood up. Mo Yu Qingyang sat there alone. He has seen many couples, such as his parents, who were willing to sacrifice their lives for each other and raised their children with mutual support. I'll have to wait and see. Mo Yu Qingyang also felt that he was a little dazzled recently. He couldn't see clearly into the hearts of those women. Morosa walked out and saw his master Luo Feng falling from the sky. Master, Morosa immediately went over to greet him. Follow me. Luo Feng smiled mysteriously. When Morosa saw his master's smile, his heart was moved. He immediately suppressed his joy and followed his master to the quiet room. The quiet room is one of the spaces in the Star Tower. This is the exclusive space for Morosa to practice. Luo Feng and Morosa are both here at the moment. I went out this time and killed a top Chaos Realm expert. Luo Feng looked at Morosa. He was a flesh body that cultivated the origin of life, which was quite special. As he waved his hand, the huge corpse of Beiyu Great Sage fell into this level of space. When Morosa saw this, his eyes suddenly lit up. He felt that the terrifying aura of this corpse was many times stronger than the chaotic bloodline that Shueyin had just broken through before his death. After killing a chaos mirror, there is a corpse. Morosa was very surprised. Under normal circumstances, if the opponent has a resurrection vehicle, as long as he has a little consciousness and a thought, his real body will completely disintegrate. Therefore, corpses in the Chaos Realm are very rare. After I entered the Chaos Realm, my progress was slow. Morosa couldn't help but say, I can only rely on absorbing the power of heaven and earth. This time, my strength has finally improved a lot. Morosa absorbed the power of heaven and earth at a fast speed. He could absorb the energy reserve of the perfect divine body of the Chaos Realm in about an epoch. However, the power of heaven and earth is pure energy and is relatively weak, while the corpse of a strong person contains his own laws, which greatly helps the growth of the realm in the body. You can practice slowly. Luo Feng smiled and left this level of space. Morosa immediately performed a secret technique, and the huge corpse of the great sage Beiyu began to be absorbed and digested by Morosa. Some of the mysteries of the origin of life contained in the corpse also began to merge into the realm in Morosa's body, causing the realm to grow extremely slowly. As the world grows, Morosa naturally comprehends more mysteries of the origin of destruction. Normal practitioners would focus on different branches of the great Tao of destruction, but Morosa was comprehending each branch at the same time and making overall progress. In the exclusive practice space of Luo Feng in Xingchen Ta, Luo Feng began to comprehend the 72 blades of destruction. Before, Luo Feng had never received the God King level inheritance in the direction of the great Tao of the origin of destruction. The 9 blades of breaking the world he practiced before was created by a chaos mirror. He himself had not comprehended the blade technique left by a branch of the great Tao of the origin of destruction. Luo Feng was even more confused after seeing it. Even though Luo Feng's mind and will were strong and he could comprehend the origin of destruction displayed by Morosa, the mysteries of the Great Tao were still progressing slowly. This is the inheritance of the Great Way. After carefully studying the first volume of 72 Blades of Annihilation, which contained a large amount of inheritance information about the heaven-splitting lineage, Luo Feng's eyes were filled with tears. The creator of 72 Blades of Destruction was at a very high level. He explained splitting the sky vein from different angles, and explained it very clearly. Luo Feng's confusion after reaching the Chaos Realm naturally disappeared. Luo Feng's understanding of the splitting heaven vein was constantly improving. He slowly comprehended every sentence in the inheritance, and he studied it carefully before reading the next sentence. After such a meticulous study, it took more than half a century to study the splitting heaven vein and dark heaven vein in full. After studying it once, Luo Feng felt like he was reborn. So, the splitting sky lineage and the dark sky lineage are like this. Luo Feng was confused before, but now he can see the paths of these two lines clearly. Even those who delved deeply into the splitting the sky vein had already comprehended most of it. Of course, this is the easiest part to understand. The more advanced the part, the harder it is. Many peak Chaos Realm Masters are stuck at the final bottleneck. The last step prevents the peak Chaos Realm Masters from becoming Divine Kings. A truly top-notch inheritance is a huge help. Luo Feng had never worried about inheritance before he reached the Chaos Realm. At that time, the inheritance of Duan Donghe and his masters Shankar was enough for him to comprehend. Luo Feng did not feel the same way about the desire of many eternal true gods for an inheritance. It was only after he reached the Chaos Realm that he felt the difference between having an inheritance and not having one. Luo Feng sat there, his palm gently sliding across the space, like a knife cutting through tofu, easily cutting through layer after layer of space. If you understand the operation of the rules, you can make a single effort produce an effect 10,000 or 1,000,000 times greater. This is the Tao. Luo Feng smiled. Suddenly, the mighty galactic sword light appeared in the space of the Star Tower. The 20,000 galactic sword lights in the form of yin and yang particles were terrifyingly powerful. At this moment, everyone used the River of Swords technique. River Blade Slash is the most common Chaos Realm sword technique that Luo Feng has simplified as much as possible. Because it is simple, the mental burden is small enough. Boom! In this layer of space within the Star Tower, all spatial layers are annihilated and turned into chaos, leaving only the thick membrane wall of the world. Blade River Slash. It could be much simpler and purer. Luo Feng had a deeper understanding of the splitting sky lineage and the dark sky lineage, so he incorporated these understandings into the River Knife Slash and began to change this move, gradually allowing the River Knife Slash to possess some simple applications of the dark sky lineage and the splitting sky lineage. The most basic level of application puts little burden on the mind, but the power is even slightly enhanced. Let's try it. Now I can perform many River of Swords at the same time. Luo Feng thought. 30,000 galactic sword lights tore through this space. 40,000 galaxy sword lights, 50,000 galaxy sword lights. Only when he climbed to 83,000 galaxy sword lights did Luo Feng feel that the mental burden was very strenuous. After spending more than half a century comprehending 72 Blades of Annihilation, and understanding the heaven-splitting and dark heaven-splitting lineages, has it enabled me to control so many sword lights. Luo Feng could not help but feel delighted, as the power was several times higher than before. If my slashing sky lineage and dark sky lineage both reach the peak of the primal chaos realm, how many sword lights can they control at such a high level? Luo Feng was very curious about his own limit at the primal chaos realm level. Luo Feng suddenly looked towards this space, somewhat shocked and suspicious. My galaxy sword light has been enhanced several times this time. Compared with the existence that has just entered the God King level, it may be much less mysterious, but the pure power is definitely not inferior. Luo Feng is very clear about this galaxy sword light in the form of yin-yang particles. A unit of galaxy sword light performing Sword River Slash is enough to rival the full-strength attack of a mid-level Chaos Realm expert who burns his divine power to the limit. 83,000 powerful people united? Their sheer power was no less than that of a divine king at the first level. The Star Tower was refined by my master. My master is only at the first level of divine king, so the Star Tower he refined should also be a secret treasure of the first level of divine king. Luo Feng thought, like the long stick I got from Chu Yuanhu before, it is also a weapon of the first level of divine king. As a secret treasure of the first level of the divine king, the Star Tower can indeed withstand my full effort, but you should be able to feel some pressure. But I used all my strength time and time again, and the Star Tower felt no pressure at all. Luo Feng didn't have enough strength in the past and didn't notice this, but he discovered this problem as he approached the first level of the Divine King realm. Luo Feng walked to the inner wall of the Star Tower and punched it. The wall shook slightly, easily removing the impact. Luo Feng gradually increased his explosive power, and his punches became heavier and heavier, until the tens of billions of units of Luo Feng's transformation power completely exploded. Driving the 83,000 units of the Galaxy Sword Light, Luo Feng can use the Chaos Realm level move, Sword River Slash. But once the tens of billions of units of the transformation method are exploded, Luo Feng can only use the crudest moves, but the power is extremely huge. The attack on the tower wall rumbled. The tower wall still only shook slightly, and the impact was removed. What? I hit the tower wall with all my strength in close combat, and it couldn't shake it at all? Luo Feng couldn't believe it. That is to say, if I am trapped in it, I can't escape at all. Even if there are 10 or 100 times more powerful beings, they may not be able to get out if they are trapped in it. As the master of the Star Tower, Luo Feng could sense the distance of his attack, and the Star Tower was still far from its limit. He couldn't tell exactly how far the distance was, but he only knew that he was now bursting out with all his strength, and the Star Tower was not under any pressure at all. Luo Feng couldn't believe it. A secret treasure of the first level of the Divine King can't be so strong. This was not in line with common sense. A secret treasure of the first level of the Divine King, in order to suppress an existence of the same level, would require divine power and effort to suppress it. My master is a hermit. From what I know, he is only the ruler of a marginal country in the origin continent. Luo Feng pondered. My master mentioned to me that there was an accident during the refining of the Star Tower. A golden light merged into the Star Tower, which accelerated the formation of the Star Tower. When Luo Feng talked about this with his master, he didn't notice the problem. Now that he thinks about it. When a God King is refining an instrument, he must have strict control over the environment. How could an accident occur and allow foreign objects to merge into the Star Tower? Obviously, the appearance of this foreign object is beyond the God King's control over the environment. This Star Tower. Luo Feng felt it carefully. As a secret treasure that has been with him for a long time, Luo Feng found it a bit mysterious for the first time. This video will end here.